Peace and blessed family is yours truly, Mal Murray. I am the CEO of Synergetic Network Group LLC, where we are your community liaison for entrepreneurs and consumers. My queen, Amani Amari, is the executive director. We are so excited about us doing business with our family over in the motherland, man. Our brother over in Ghana, Elora, man, who has a wonderful men's collection, the Elk Men's Collection. We have added this to our collection and it will be up real soon on the site. I just have to wear these beautiful men's pieces that I have. The one I'm wearing right now is part of the Elk Collection. You know, I have to wear it first to make sure it's tested and proven before I tell you, that it is a go, because I like to make sure I use any type of product or wear any type of clothing that we sell. Okay, so this is the Elk Men's Fashion, man. Gonna have your boy looking clean like I'm looking right now, like a king should. You understand what I'm saying? Have me nice, fresh, and dressed, ready to impress. Definitely will pass the fashion test, man. I'm gonna put that red handkerchief right there, fam. Put that red handkerchief right there. Brother's gonna be clean, stepping on the scene, you know what I mean? Yes, sir. Gonna do it right. All right, so then we also have now, we are ready. For those who don't know, we had announced this, that it was coming soon, family. It is here now. You can purchase the Ngozi Nzuri black soap. It's Swahili for beautiful skin, okay? It's straight from Ghana, African owned and operated, okay? We have the lemon, okay, and we have the aloe. Man, my favorite is the lemon. I've already used it. As I aforementioned, I make sure that I use products, my queen as well. Okay, women, we have you real soon. The queen, she's testing some products for you, okay, before we actually upload those products. But as of yet, we have women's accessories, okay, women's accessories coming straight from Kenya, and so, queens, we got you. Just be patient. We have a few garments that's up there right now for your African wear pleasure. Okay, so you can go there, check us out. Kebulon Lifestyle. Where we feel like that our clothing is not a fad, it's culture, it's a way of life. All right, so we're going to talk about being reconnected with being family oriented. So we have to practice cooperative economics as I have already done so, presented this to you, as well as we also have some life water here from the Black Liberation Movement. The overseer of the movement is Patrick Alexander. Okay, I have given you guys the link. All right, so you can go to the website so you can purchase this 9.5 alkaline life water. It does give you life. It's good. I drank it before. Trust and believe that. It's excellent. Give you that nice balance too. You drink your spring water as well with it. Bring that power all in there together, right? Keep your body nice and flushed and keep you hydrated, okay? So also, we have Brother Dean OK over in the UK, who's doing great things with the ADPAC, okay? And that stands for Africa Diaspora Political Action Committee, where they focus on the socio-economic and political growth of our people internationally via collective pooling of expertise, resources, and experience. Okay, so Brother Dean OK over in the UK with the rest of our family over in the UK doing great things, establishing this political party, us having some representation, because we all know about taxation, but no representation. All right, so they're a voice in the community for us, and also helping to empower, because there's also some collective donations that's being made monthly as well. Okay, and also you have out there the Sankofa Repatriation Assistance Program, okay, which my queen and I are definitely a part of. We make our monthly donation to that. For those who want to be involved in the AdPack, okay, I provided the link there in the header of the video. So you can go there, as well as the Sankofa Repatriation Assistance Program. What they focus on is, again, bringing us all together throughout the diaspora, okay, helping those who want to move back to the motherland, move there and to be able to establish business. We already have people on the ground that's over there, okay, that will help you to do so to make it a smooth transition. Okay. Also, there are investment opportunities. Okay. There's free land, but you have to pay the $700. That includes the registration fee, paperwork, processing, and all those things like that. So that's the catch to it. You just have to pay your $700 for the actual processing of the paperwork, but the land is free. That money is not for the land; it's for the paperwork for the land. So that's what that's all about. Okay, so the land is free. Okay. All right. Also, there's an investment opportunity for those who want to invest in the orange juice industry. There's an orange juice factory that's there. You can get a piece of the pie there as well. Okay. You can also invest $200 in an apartment complex, helping them to acquire it. If you do so, you'll be able to stay in that facility for a total of a week. Okay, a total of a week. All right, for free when you are over there in Ghana. It's in the Cape Coast area, okay, as well as the land as well. It's in the Cape Coast area, not far from, the slave dungeon, that they have there. They call it a point of no return. Is not too far from there. Okay, that's where the land is located at, and the apartment complex will be located over in the same vicinity. Okay. So now we're going to talk about family orientation being reconnected very briefly. So we want to talk about NIA very quickly. NIA means to make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community in order to restore our people to our traditional greatness. Again, NIA is to make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community in order to restore our people to our traditional graces. So we must be reconnected with our indigenous mentality. I say that because some of us were already here in this continent, so-called called America, and then some of us came from that continent, so-called called Africa, and we must be restored back to our family orientation. The reason why we suffer so much as a people is because we have been disconnected from that, and we have become desensitized and immune to not caring about each other. And that's one of our major problems. See, the reason why organizations like the ADPAC and Sankofa and the Black Liberation Movement, exist is to do exactly what NIA, the purpose of NIA is. NIA's purpose to make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community in order to restore our people to our traditional greatness. This is the reason why organizations like Synergetic Network Group LLC exist. Okay. And like the rest of these organizations that I have, like the UNIA and the Fruit of Islam, okay, and so many others that are out here today, putting forth the effort. Just like the Sankofa Repatriation Assistance Program is there. This is what this is all about. It's about connecting us, reuniting, because first of all, a kingdom divided can't stand. It's not just a cliche. I live by this every day. Okay, I may not necessarily call myself black because I know what I am. You know what I'm saying? And I understand some of our brothers, sisters, and elders included don't know, exactly, what people they come from. So we use these modern day terminologies to be able to utilize as a banner to stand up under, because a lot of us don't really know. Okay. And I don't knock anybody that does, label themselves at that. Here's the thing. We shouldn't beat up each other. You understand what I'm saying? Because, when we start dealing with certain things, it does cause division. I still feel like at the same time, we have to address what's good for our people. And some people, they don't understand that. They take it as, oh, it's a war, but when it's done in love, to where we say, okay, what's best for us as a collective? What do we need to embrace? What do we need to reject? Sometimes we got to understand this. Our egos get in the way. We feel like I'm not accountable to you. I'm not accountable you because, I'm my own man and I'm my own woman. Now some people can take those things to the extreme and they could be overbearing with that. And they feel like, well, if you don't follow after their ideology, then you just have it totally and completely wrong. You know what I'm saying? Listen, as long as we embrace who we are as a people, Some embrace, the netta. Some embrace the orishas. Okay, some embrace voodoo. Okay, but here's the thing, I feel like this is my personal feelings. As long as it's African and it's moral, because we can't forget the moral part. You know what I'm saying? We just have to embrace moral principles, and we have to get back to the moral principles, and we have to implement those moral principles, and so we can begin to have the Uapele, which is Yoruba for good character. Okay, I've said this before and I'll say this again. I will continue to stand in this. I'm a man of peace, of love, and I'm a man of unity. I'm also a fighter. Okay, I believe we have to be a fighter and we have to be a lover. Okay, I do feel like I do love that proverb that says there's a time for peace and there's a time for war. You understand? And so we have to know when to fight and we have to know when to be at peace. And one thing we should not be doing is fighting one another, because we are not each other's enemy. But due to us being brainwashed, due to the racist tactics that have been used and has been very successful, and racism has been a weapon of mass destruction for the indigenous people throughout the diaspora. And that's the reason why we're separated, because united we can stand. And the reason why we're falling, because we're divided. And also we're following after teachings that are not of an indigenous root. In order for you to be able to stop an illness, you have to cut it off from the root. You find the illness, you find the remedy, you implement the remedy, and then it brings forth the healing. And so our cure for our social ills is being reconnected with actually who we are. And see, the reason why that indigenous people throughout the diaspora is mentally ill is because we're literally out of our mind, because we're not connected with the true mind of the so-called black man. We are indigenous. And with us being indigenous, there's a people that are from certain regions. And when you're from a certain region, you have a people there, and that people always has a culture. And that culture consists of language. And also that culture consists of, most importantly, a mindset and the way of life. Music and all those things is wonderful. But it's the mindset that gives us the stability for us to be able to stand. And the reason why we are in the condition that we're in is due to the fact that we are mentally ill. And we need mental surgery, if you will. We need the scalpel of truth to go into our minds, and we need to have those lies uprooted up out of our minds so our minds can be transformed. We had to be severed from the racist ideologies that we have been taught. And we have to get back to love again. We have to get back to family. And it's sad that so many people, they say that, oh, I'm about the family, but when they come into your presence, you can feel, because we got vibrations, you understand? And some people send those negative vibrations. Like that song, she's got that vibe, right? You feel that vibe from a woman. You can tell when she like you. You feel that vibe from that man. You can tell when that man like you. Why? You feel that energy. You understand? And there's some of us that, we try to coat it with, African terminology and African spirituality. We try to coat it with African attire, but we truly are a liar, because our hearts are not in the right place. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to get back to that, to our spiritual foundation, which our spiritual systems, from my understanding and from my study, what I've come to find, dealing with those in Ifa, dealing with those in Voodoo, okay, dealing with those who truly do follow after, the Nettas and follow after Mayat, those who truly do subscribe to it. I'm not talking about just having a form of Africanness, but denying the power thereof that makes you a true African, okay? We have to get back to walking upright. And we have to start thinking right. And when you think right, you live right, you talk right, and you treat each other right. So again, we must reconnect to our family mind, and how we do this is going back to our African culture. And for those who don't know exactly where you come from, listen, study your people. Study, I would say, study the Yoruba spirituality. That's my recommendation. Study voodoo. Okay? Study what our brothers and sisters call, the Kemetic way of life, you know what I'm saying? Studying the Kushites way of life. Those who, understand this, study the Kemetic science, for those who don't know any other terminology, okay? And get in touch with your spirituality and practice, some people say, Maya, but is your heart light like a feather? Some people talk about Ifa, but is your heart light? And are you immersed in the light of goodness? Right? So we have to get back to that way of life. We have to get back to moral principles and that moral mindset. And some of us, unfortunately, we feel like that acting the fool is the character of us as indigenous people. Why? Again, because of the weapon of mass destruction and racism via gangster rap, via teaching from being enslaved that has been disseminated, and you have generational enslavement teaching that has enslaved our minds and has us thinking certain things about ourselves that is totally opposite to what we are, that is contrary to who we are as a people. We are intelligent, okay? We are wise. Now, some may question that and challenge that because of the things that we do, but we have to understand, okay? When somebody in boxing, right? When somebody has received a lethal blow to the head, does that person walk straight? Does that person do what they would normally do if they, wasn't in that state? So the thing is, that's what's happening to us. We're not stable, and I don't know if you ever seen somebody ever get into something, they didn't even know where they're at. They're not even aware of what's going on around them. You know what I'm saying? They could barely even stand up. And that's what happened to us, with this lethal blow called slavery, racism, colonization. And so we have to get reconnected. We have to reconnect. We have to come together, and we got to stop beating each other up too. Some people can't afford to do certain things at certain times. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying everybody. I know some of us do some foolish things, our resources. But let me tell you something. Our family resources have been limited too because we're trying to build generational wealth. You know what I'm saying? So we can help ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And it takes money to make money. You understand? So sometimes we can't save the world. You understand what I'm saying? You can't save the world. You only could do what you can do with what you have. So let us also be very careful about how we judge one another, because we do that very harshly and we too quick to do that to each other. And the reason why, because our hearts are hard. We're not very understanding with each other. You know what I mean? We say that we understand, but our actions, what we say and what we do is totally contrary to what we say we comprehend. So the truth is that you couldn't tell. We had to be very careful about the way that we handle each other. A lot of our brothers and sisters are messed up mentally, but we mock them and we make jokes about them. We do memes about them and we call them dumb and we call them stupid. But once upon a time, not long ago, we used to follow after the same foolishness that they follow after. We talked the same way. We used to gang bang. We used to sell drugs. Okay, some of us were whorish men and whorish women. Okay, some of us wasn't even cognizant of what was going on. Okay, then we all of a sudden now we become so-called conscious and we have a memory lapse, you know what I'm saying? Which to me, you fell right back into slumber. You never really woke up. You understand what I'm saying? And I had to catch myself too. We're not careful, we end up in the wrong spirit, man. We got to understand what love truly is. And some of us, we call love, mockery. And mockery is not love. We need to teach, and there's a difference. You teach, you make somebody aware. You don't have to mock them to make them aware of that. And so a lot of times people don't want to affiliate ourselves with certain groups because of the way that they talk, the way that they act, the way that they treat people. Even though that they say that they love, but where's the love at? It's kind of like that verse when I was in the church, and it says that, you can have tongues, that are eloquent. You can sing like an angel. You can feed the poor. You can clothe the naked. You can see about those in prison. But if you have not love, you like a tingling brass and a clinging cymbal. You just making noise. And some people don't understand it. See, some people say, oh, look at my works. But where is your heart at though? Where is your heart at though? How do you treat people? Why are you doing what you're doing? Are you doing that to prove something to yourself? That you're a good person? Oh, I'm about this life? You trying to prove it to the next fellow activist or the next revolutionary or the next conscious person? Huh? Why are we doing what we're doing? What is the purpose of it? See, we got to handle each other with tender love and care. We got to be very careful about how we handle our brothers and our sisters, that wrestle with who they are. And I'm talking about even with their sexual orientation, who they are. We got to be careful with that stuff, man, because you don't know what somebody went through in their life. You don't have to support their life, but just, again, remember that you're dealing with a life. And we need to handle each other with TLC. Okay, we need to handle each other with TLC. Stand up for what's right, stand firm on what you believe on. But at the same time, make sure your stance is in love and strength. All right, so peace, love, and power. I love all of you. All the information is in the header, okay? If you know anybody that has a business, or want to learn about business, please feel free to direct them to the Synergetic Global Business Connection. Okay, there's some real life entrepreneurs there that can be of some assistance to them. Okay, we would love to be of service to them as well. We would like to help them or you in any way that we possibly can within our means. Okay, and that doesn't always necessarily mean economically because our resources are limited too. Okay. That's the reason why some people go broke. All right. Not to mock my brother, MC Hammer bags him. And so many of our other brothers who made a lot of money and sisters made a lot of money and blew it. Okay. Because they weren't managing their resources properly. All right. Love you. Peace and love.